Hello children, this is a political science class of class 11th and I am continuing the topic rights and duties in the Indian Constitution. In the previous class I told you about Bill of Rights. Today I want to tell you how and why the fundamental rights have been included in the Indian Constitution. Before independence also, freedom fighters felt the need of some rights of the citizens and they demanded some rights from the British government for the citizens of our country. There was a committee, the name was Motilal Nehru Committee. They also demanded that some fundamental rights for the Indian and for the Indian citizens, and it was in 1928. Motilal Nehru was the father of Jawaharlal Nehru and he was leading this committee, and this committee in 1928 demanded some rights for the Indian citizens, and the result was that there was basically this idea in the mind of the freedom fighters and the leaders of the country. And after independence, when there was a process of and when there was a making of the Indian Constitution, then there was no two views and two opinions, means no one was having any objection for the including of the fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. And so in part 3 of the Indian Constitution, there is a list of fundamental rights which have been included in our Constitution. Now the question is, why fundamental rights have been called fundamental? Fundamental rights have been called fundamental because these are the rights without which no one can imagine a dignified life, and for living a dignified life it's necessary to have all the rights which have been included and which have been mentioned in the part 3 of the Constitution. And then there is another thing, that is some legal rights, or we can say some ordinary rights or legal rights. Now, what are ordinary rights and legal rights? Legal rights are those rights which have been given or which have been given to the citizens through making some law. And who is making law? That is legislature. Legislature makes law, and by making some law, we have got some right. That is called the legal rights. Now, what is the difference between fundamental rights and ordinary or legal rights? Fundamental rights have been guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. Guarantee means at any cost these rights will be given to you and no one can violate these rights. And then the second most important thing is that protection. As I told you in the previous class also, that the protection will be given by the government or the country for the protecting the fundamental rights of a citizen. And the next is amendment or any change. Suppose people want some changes in the fundamental rights, then the changes can be done only through the amendment in the Constitution. Amendment means if any change is going to be done in the Constitution, and that change is only done through the article, under the article 368, because in 368 the procedure of the amendment in the Constitution have been given. If any amendment or any change in the fundamental rights has to be done, then it can be done only through the amendment in the Constitution. For example, in 1978, through the 44th Amendment, the right to property, the right to property have been abolished from the list of the fundamental rights of the Indian Constitution. And here we can see that if legal rights has to be changed, then through the legislature can change the law, and it can change the legal rights through by making or by amending or by doing any change in the law. And legal rights are protected by the law also. Means it is given by the law and it is protected by the law, and it can be changed only by changing in the law. And law is made by the legislature. It means legal rights के विषय में whatever the powers are there, it is with only legislature. Legislature has whole sole power for changing in the rights, that is in the legal rights. Right? Understood these things? Now, the next is, what is the role of the judiciary? Right? If we have seen that fundamental rights is there and legal rights are there, then what is the role of the judiciary? Actually, judiciary plays a very important role for protecting the rights of the citizen, that is fundamental rights, because if, as I told you in the previous class also, that if any organ of the government or any person or the government by making any action, like any action done by the organs of the government is going to prohibit or going to violate the fundamental right, then judiciary is there to safeguard it. Because suppose there is a law and the law has been made by the legislature, and that law is going to violate some of the fundamental rights of any citizen, then the judiciary can review that law and it can declare that law null and void, that is illegal, right? So in that way, in that situation, the law made by the legislature will be declared null and void. In the same way, if executive or any organ of the government is going to take any action that action is going to violate any right of the citizens, then that action can also be declared illegal by the judiciary. Right? So, judiciary is the guardian of the fundamental rights. What do you mean by guardian? What is, all of you are having your guardians also, what they do? They afford you. They provide you good education also, and they also provide you whatever you need. So, guardians are giving you protection also. In the same way, judiciary is the guardian of the fundamental rights, and judiciary is going to protect and give protection if your fundamental right is going to be violated by any person, any institution, or by the government also. Right? Now, the most important thing is that is any right is absolute. Suppose you are studying about right and you will tell, okay, ma'am has told me that we have got so much rights and we are going to enjoy it, right? For example, you are having right to freedom, and under right to freedom, so many rights have been given. I am talking only one right, that is right to speak and expression. Right? Under right to speak and expression, you can speak anything, but it does not mean that आप किसी को कुछ भी बोल देंगे. Is it right? No. And in the same way, under right to speak and expression, you can write an article. That article can be published in the newspaper also. For example, you have written an article and that article is going to be published in the newspaper, and due to that article there has been a creation of the not a very bad relation between two communities, or some rights has created only due to the, because you have written such kind of article which has created a right in between two communities, then are you going to have the right to speak and expression? No. If your action is going to hurt or is going to disturb the law and order of the country, then your right will be prohibited. It means rights are not absolute. Rights are never absolute. They also have some limitations. You have to use and you have to enjoy your rights within the limits. Right? So, whenever you are studying and enjoying your rights, you should pay attention that they are not absolute, and you have to pay attention for the limitations also. Okay, children, what you have studied about today in today's class, so many things like why the fundamental rights have been included in the Constitution, and what do you mean? What is the meaning of the fundamental, and what is the meaning of the that judiciary is the guardian of the Constitution, and how it is protected, who can violate the rights, and at the same time you have read that rights are not absolute. This is very important, that rights are never absolute, and when if you are going to misuse it, then that right of yours will be prohibited. Thank you, children. That's all for today, and in the next class we will study about the Bill of Rights of South Africa.